All right.
Here we go.
So, the question of the day. Who would you rather be trained by? We asked this on Facebook, did a poll, and we got like a decent amount of votes, 73 votes. So, and it seemed like some people were really like felt very strongly. So that's kind of why we're here today, to discuss just like different points, see what just kind of read off some of the things that people said. So the question was, who would you rather be trained by? 1, educated trainer who is knowledgeable, has all the certifications, and is going to school for it. Or 2, experienced trainer who looks the part and trains themselves and has a great physique, strength, and conditioning. We had 26 people vote educated trainer and 74% experienced trainer.
Oh boy.
And then I also sent it to a few people,
Yeah.
like after the fact, and just thanked everyone. And we got a few like
Great responses.
a few responses just from like both sides. Some people who voted in the 26% were kind of like, okay, well, I get that.
Yeah.
But it's more like what I noticed is like it seems like a lot of people who voted educated are going to school themselves
Really?
for something in that area, or even just people that are going to school in general.
Yeah, like
I noticed.
kinesiology or exercise science or something.
Yeah, but even just like people that are going to school in general, I noticed like people that are just in college.
Yeah.
Just kind of like going through like a quick like demographic in my mind.
Yeah.
And then it seems like more people who like worked out actually did the experienced trainer and was in that 74%.
But out of those two options, I'm going to go with experienced.
Yeah.
For the reason that with an educated person, if they don't have enough field experience, if they don't have enough firsthand experience, and it's not to say, when I say experienced trainer, that doesn't mean that they're not educated. You know, it doesn't mean they're instantly dumb.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
And I think that that's kind of something that people's minds might jump to initially.
That's the thing I was noticing is people built different personas for the two.
Yeah,
And
they assumed a lot of stuff.
like someone said, like someone voted educated, and then they were like, yeah, because no fat person's gonna train me.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, wouldn't that be the educated? So it's like people built their own personas for the two.
Yeah.
Like when I would think educated trainer, oh, so that's like the fat person that went to college that is just a trainer now because they have the degree.
Yeah, why are they fat all of a sudden?
I don't know. That's just like the persona I made in my head, right?
You know, if they are a little unexperienced, well, I guess the biggest detriments that you're going to have with an unexperienced but highly educated person is that they're going to know how to do things by the book, right? They're going to know a lot of stuff, but will they know how to apply that, right? So, for example, if you have an uneducated but I guess uneducated on the very fine details and nuances, but very experienced bodybuilder or powerlifter. You know, I'm going to use myself as an example here. When I was training people, let's say they instantly just had a heart attack while they're squatting. Like I usually had people squat on the Smith machine because they weren't experienced enough or just comfortable enough squatting with a barbell.
Same.
Or even deadlifting, right? But so let's say I'm having them use the Smith machine and they go into a cardiac arrest, right? I don't know what to do, right? Because I don't know those fine details that I feel like I might learn if I had a degree in kinesiology or exercise science, something that's going to benefit me more. It doesn't mean I'm not smart and I'm uneducated, because I do a lot of like amateur research too.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know what to do in that set of circumstances. So take the really educated person who went to college and has all that stuff. You got to remember to graduate with that kind of degree or certification, they're probably going to have some firsthand experience anyway. They're probably going to have to pass some sort of exam or class where they're actually applying that stuff. I know for myself, for the degree that I'm getting, applied health sciences, I think I have to take a course where I'm actually working out, you know.
Well, do you think that's what someone's going to think about, though, when someone would ask them?
Of course not. People are judgmental as hell.
Well, yeah.
They're going to jump to a lot of conclusions
They're
probably
not
based in fallacies.
Well, like, I mean, do you think someone's going to think about, like, well, what if I have a heart attack?
Oh,
Probably not, right?
What, the client or the
As far as
trainer?
like, if I ask like, who would you rather be trained by?
Yeah.
Like, they're probably not gonna think like, well, I might have a heart attack.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the educated. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people are more gonna like go off of like, who's gonna give me the better result.
Yeah, if they're not
I feel like that's what
thinking,
it comes down to.
Yeah, if I guess if they're not the most critical thinker, and if they're not really giving all those things enough thought, then
that is a valid that is a valid concern.
Yeah,
I just don't think anyone thought that.
Probably not.
Or maybe
Probably
someone
not.
did.
Yeah,
like no one said that.
Yeah,
but it's very possible. Like, that's deep thinking. Like who would I be safer with?
Yeah. Well, what are some of the comments? Yeah.
All right, so because we're talking about like the experienced trainer with the great physique. So there is a point down there that I kind of wanted to hit because someone said something about, so like someone said, I don't want someone fit or not fit giving me advice like my overweight doctor telling me to lose weight.
Okay. Or
So like
that smokes.
that, right. So like that being in you got to have a good physique, strength and conditioning. But then someone kind of said that to something to counter that, which was, let me just find it. Okay, so it was saying maybe that person that looks really good isn't actually educated, like they didn't get educated through experience, but instead is taking performance enhancers and has great genetics.
I was thinking about that too. So I did already bring up the genetic part, right?
Yeah.
They have a good physique naturally.
Yeah.
But they can also cheat the system too. And they can also... so here's another thing that I want to bring up. I mean, that first one was a good example of lead by example, right? If you have a doctor or a physician, you want them to be fit. You want them to not do unhealthy things, right? If you have a trainer, do you necessarily want them to see, like, it depends on your goal. I mean, I guess... Yeah. I think you had shared with me a few times that some people are like intimidated by your physique, you know? Yeah. They kind of look at you and they're like, well...
I had people tell me when I sat down with them, when they signed up for membership, I had people tell me, whoa, well, I don't want to look like you.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna want to be matched with the trainer that's gonna give them the kind of... They're probably aiming for the physique that they're seeing within their trainer, right? So, you know, if your goals are to put on a lot of muscle, then they might want to sit down with you because that naturally indicates to them, this guy's jacked. He knows what to do. I don't know. I think that is a big thing. I think leading by example can definitely take somebody a far way, but I think that it only says so much, because if somebody is very educated, and let's say that they were once a phenom athlete, right? But then they just kind of lost their ways. They still know how to train somebody, but maybe
like
they just put on some weight.
What's his name? Hanny Ramban? Hanny Ramban? What's his name? Guy that trained Jeremy Buendia. So this guy trains like Olympians. He trained Phil Heath, Jeremy Buendia, a figure Olympia, Nicole Wilkins. I might be butchering these names, but if you show you a picture of him, he does not look like any of the people that he trains. But just like you said, back in the day, he was like, he competed. Okay. And he did pretty well.
See, he was a successful bodybuilder.
Right.
Okay.
But he doesn't look like it now. And they were talking about this on one of, I forget where they were talking about this, but they were saying just because Hanny can't put down the donut doesn't mean he's not training Olympians.
If you're going to criticize your trainer, if you're going to say like, this person doesn't fit the part, if they don't look like they might train me well, what do you know about them? What can you really say about them? And then also think about the position that you're in. You're the one seeking a trainer or sitting down with a trainer.
But what if...
Are you in any good position to really be saying, like, this guy is not qualified, this woman is not qualified to be helping me? Experience or not, there's benefits in both.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of like one of the arguing points is the education correct for what you're doing. So like, because some trainers are extremely educated, just not on like a specific goal that a client may have.
Correct or appropriate?
Appropriate for the goal.
Okay.
So like, maybe a trainer is really good, or he's very knowledgeable about getting the people to lose weight, but not on how to get people to stop like physically stop fucking picking up cake and eating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can tell them all about, well, this food has this many calories and this is what it's going to do to your blood. And they're going to go, oh, okay, cool. Go home and eat a fucking cake. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter that you just told them not to do that and don't do that because of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but like, maybe you have more experience in like the realm of losing weight because that's what you do and you have a good physique. Maybe you could tell them, hey, something that helps me instead of having cake is, you know, this brand has a birthday cake flavored protein. That's like sounds, but you'd be like, that can help like at night instead of like getting cake. You'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah. Compared to someone who just eats whatever, who's eating cake the same night that their client is.
Yeah, I guess if you think about, you're right. Actually, I mean, if you think about some of the professionals who help people with weight loss the best, if that's your goal, or even if it's putting on muscle, some of the best professionals for that are psychologists. There's somebody who can help you through what's going on up here, right? So let's say you have a program, right, that you're following. You want to put on some muscle. You want to be a power lifter or bodybuilder, Olympic weightlifter, whatever, strongman perhaps, and you have a good goal, but something's getting in the way of you consistently improving on that goal. You know, you squat 500 pounds and then you move up to 550, 600, whatever, but something's keeping you at 500. You keep plateauing. What's keeping you at 500? So sometimes you got to look at it from more of a psychoanalysis perspective. You can't always just look at it from, well, this is what happened to me. But actually, I don't know. Have you seen those videos of that dude, that wrestler, that WWE guy that died? I think like last year or 2 years ago or something, who he's training like a group of teenage boys.
That guy?
Squat.
That guy?
Yeah.
He died?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know, but I think he did. Squat.
Yeah.
If I could do one
Put
exercise for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Put it on your back and squat down. Like you're taking a shit.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
That dude. Yeah. I don't know whether or not he went to college.
Doesn't sound like he's like, well, the squat, you know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe not. But that's like you're saying. If you want to be a strong man or a Olympic weightlifter or a powerlifter, where the fuck do you go to get educated on that?
Yeah.
There's no college teaching you how to be a powerlifter.
Right. Do you go to the personal trainer at a commercial gym?
I did strength training.
You're lucky to come across a personal trainer at a commercial gym who's well versed in those rather not unknown, just I guess less known, for lack of a better term there, less known styles of training, right? What's going to be the most appropriate for you? What's going to be the best for you? What's going to get you to your goal and give you the results that you want? How likely are you to come across one of those guys at a commercial gym, right? So yeah, you're right. I mean, if you want to become a champion at something, you go to the top, right? If you want to become the best at something, you go find the best. And so I always felt bad because in high school, despite having some of the greatest coaches in this country for high school powerlifters, I was so arrogant and ego-driven, egocentric. I just needed to win. I needed to satisfy my ego. I needed to be proud. I needed to be whatever. And so I did whatever it took to win. And so instead of listening to my coaches, I would go on YouTube every night and just watch videos of Ed Cohen squatting or deadlifting or somebody who I considered the GOAT or somebody who I considered the greatest of all time. Yeah. Or who was widely considered to be that.
So in that way, you were kind of you were trying to go experienced instead of educated. Okay.
Well, no, because those other guys had plenty of experience too. Actually, probably more experience than education in that thing. But if you think about it, what is experience? It's education. Like I said, why are we assuming
Yeah, I know.
People naturally assume
Yeah.
that when you like just describe it as one thing and don't add other details,
Yeah.
that it's limited to that.
Well, that's why it's such an arguing point.
It's such
Because it's so
yeah.
general.
Yeah, it's so
and people
general.
draw their own personas, like we were saying earlier. Like people are drawing, like, okay, the educated's a fat guy.
Yeah.
And the experienced
They make these characters.
is the right.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah. Like
Why-
when in reality,
Yeah.
like no one is like fit into these categories like that.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully, most trainers are going to be a bit of both. But,
Yeah.
like, there are, like, I've seen trainers who are, like, educated. And I've never seen them work out. How, it's like, it kind of goes down to, like, how good is your education? Because I feel like, in a way, your education needs to be... That's a little distracting. Your education needs to be, like... basically what you're going to be doing when you get to be a trainer. You know what I mean? Like I'll just read one of the comments that someone said, because it's kind of, I didn't know that there was programs like this where you get trained on more than just like the book shit. So
Yeah.
I'll read one of the comments that, like, I didn't really know this. So this person said, "This I'm iffy about. I'd much rather have someone who is actively learning and applying the things they learn in school to themselves. I want someone with the degree, but also isn't just so as I say, not as I do, or do as I say, not as I do." And then this person said, "I just like how everyone thinks they are an Instagram model these days."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they don't
time.
know what that's a whole nother, what they are doing, but by any means, but even the best certifications out there are not very strenuous. You can get certified through the NSCA and score 51% on your test and get your certification and be eligible to train in any gym because it's one of the most recognized certifications you can get.
Yeah.
I can't speak for all exercise science programs, but I know that in my school, we legitimately have to work out, intern, and train individuals.
Yeah.
Do VO2 max and Wingate testing. Lead workouts in front of the class, functional movement assessments, prescription after testing everything, FMS screens, blood pressure, cholesterol, etc. We use skin capillaries, is that how you said it? And compare how we did to a bod pod. I don't know what that is. And again, need 240 intern hours in order to get your degree.
Wow.
So
Well,
you have so much hands-on practice.
that sounds like an athletic trainer to me.
Yeah. Well,
That's quite a bit different than a personal trainer. That sounds a lot like an athletic trainer.
I guess it wouldn't change though, because it's like, who would you rather be trained by? You know what I mean?
Oh, well, yeah. Who would you rather be trained?
Those that read textbooks and articles but get no real experience suck. You need to have more than just the knowledge to be a good trainer. If your communication skills aren't good and you are overweight, I don't care how much you think you know, this isn't the field for you. So that was pretty, I didn't know that there was any program like that. So I feel like it kind of comes down to, as far as like educated experience, it comes down to like, if you're educated like that, like at that point, like you still may not have the physique.
Yeah.
But like you have experience in training people. You might not have experience in lifting yourself. So again, that like psychological aspect of it may not be there because you don't know what's going through that person's head when they feel like fucking crying because they're on the treadmill or something.
Yeah.
But you have a lot more experience training than like someone who's just educated through, the book stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like there's almost different levels to it. Like, as far as how educated are you? Are you educated with hands-on stuff or just the textbook?
Yeah.
Or are you just like sitting in a class just learning about how many fucking red blood cells you get after like a run or something, or how much, like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I feel like that comment was like provided me some insight because I didn't know that there was anything like that. And when like people, how we make our personas of these people, when I think educated, I don't think they're doing all that. But in a sense, like still when even if I saw someone who was like, who didn't look the par and had all that, they could tell me that. And like with my goal, I'm still gonna be like, fuck off. Like, you're not gonna help me with anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But if like Hanny Rambad, that guy who said I wanted to be a bodybuilder, and he told me that, like, yeah, I've trained Olympians, I'd be like, fuck, you don't look like it, but let's do it. Like, if you showed me the evidence, I'd be like, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. So this person said, if I want to know something, I'm not going to call the guy with 26-inch arms. I'm going to call the guy with the 180 IQ. So that could be really specific. So I asked them, well, what if you want to know how to get 26-inch arms? That's like super specific.
Yeah.
Because is a doctor or like someone who is trained or who is educated on training people going to know how to get 26-inch arms if they've never done that? Like, that's like the thing. So this guy said, because the guy, okay, he said, guess it depends on what the goal is. And I said, because if the guy who in theory knows how to get 26-inch arms but has never done it himself, does he really know how to do it?
So the way that I can respond to that.
Here, let me just finish this.
Okay, no, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
He said, great players don't always make great coaches. I don't see why you can't do both. In theory, like, everyone would want both, but that's not the question.
Yeah.
It's harder than that. Studies on training have been done and published all over the world, and the results with numbers to show. That doesn't mean I don't listen to Ed Cohn when he talks about the deadlift or grip training. He can palm a basketball with 3 fingers, but he still knows how to get his grip stronger. So you can learn from both and train yourself. But you're right, it depends on who's training you and what your goal is, age, and body type. People pick super fit people to train them when it could be steroids or genetics, which can all drastically affect the way the body looks, that some people may not feel comfortable with or able to achieve with little work. I said, I agree. In a perfect world, I think most people would choose both, but I think most people are assuming that to have a great physique, strength, and conditioning, they must be educated in the matter somewhat, maybe not from a university, but through experience. So in a way, the experience could be educated as well, but I tried to word it in the most unbiased way. Anyone have anything to add? But yeah, so I feel like even vice versa, because I said in here, so in a way, experience could be educated. But if you went to get educated at a really good place, you're going to have experience training people, but you're not going to have experience like within yourself.
Yeah, I think the comment about the player might not make the best coach.
That's big.
I completely agree with that, because I know plenty of phenom athletes, a lot of great power lifters that probably couldn't tell you how they do it. They don't even know themselves. They just kind of walk up to the bar and they lift it.
So I just wanted to read more of the comments.
Sure, go ahead.
I'll read this one's kind of funny. So
what is it?
This one just says, I'll just read the whole conversation. But this person commented and said, "Experienced trainer. This shouldn't be debatable. LOL." And like a few people liked it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then someone commented on God, and then he replied back, was like, "Yeah, like I'ma just go to the quotations certified trainer who is skinny as fuck over the swole trainer who looks the part. Psych."
Yeah.
And he said, or hey, the fat fuck that has a certified degree. He must know all the secrets. So these are kind of the feelings that people are getting, because like we are making personas here, because there really are like certified trainers who are fat, and it's like I used to get. I mean, I still do. Like, just get like ticked off. Like, what are you doing? Like,
really?
Because how are you gonna? How are you gonna get someone to lose weight if you haven't done it yourself?
My thing is I that's something I would have done when I was really young, and I think I made an effort at some point in my life to like no longer judge somebody's dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't
even
judge someone's dream.
No, journey.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I don't even get that emotion anymore when I look at somebody like that because I don't know anything about them.
I know that they can't do it for themselves just by looking.
You don't know that.
Well, why haven't they though?
They might have. That Hani dude, right?
They might have in the past.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. But why are they fat now? They're most like
life happens.
That's true.
That doesn't mean that they're not qualified.
Okay, so you're more accepting of people than I am, because
that conservative part of you was me when I was much younger, and all I'm doing is just expressing how I've evolved a little bit over time.
Okay, and that's good. I tried. I don't spit out your Gatorade on the White Claw. So, and I try to like have compassion and like be caring like that. But when I see someone who's fat, who never works out, I'll just wait till you get back. I'm about to go off, man. When I see someone who's fat,
Gatorade, bro, you died too hard.
Dude, when I see someone who's fat, who never works out, and I'm out there grinding, busting my ass, trying to get stronger, get more jacked. I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna think about it. So based off of like the common population, I have a pretty low body fat percentage.
Okay.
So
I was joking.
Wait, you threw me off track. All right, so when I see someone who's fat and I'm out there grinding, trying to get stronger, trying to get more jacked, and that's what their client wants is to get jacked, put on more muscle. And it's like, what are you gonna do for them? How are you gonna help them when like I know what it takes to, because I've literally done it. Like I've literally done it for myself. And we got someone who, like, in my eyes is like almost like snake oil. Like they're faking it. Like, you learned about how to do it. Like Gary Vee said, I don't know if you know Gary Vaynerchuk. He said you can't read about doing push-ups. And he was like, well, obviously, like, I've been more reading about him because but you can't read about doing push-ups. Like, you got to do the fucking push-ups to see results.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, to just take that a little farther, it's like you can't read about push-ups and then explain to people about the push-ups when there's more to that. Like, there's in that itself, like, there's more about it that you can't read about. Like, the experience of going through it. Like, when the client's like, oh, this fucking hurts. Like, I don't want to be doing this. It's like, oh, it does? Like, you don't fucking know. You know what I mean? If you haven't done it yourself, like, oh, but okay. Like,
think about it like
I did that once before.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, yeah, you're going to need to do push-ups 3 times a week. And they're like, oh, it hurts. And the trainer who hasn't ever done that, I'm just using random numbers, but 3 times a week is like, yeah, no, just keep doing it. Like, you have no idea what they're going through. You've never done that yourself. You don't know when to pull back. Like, they could fuck around and hurt themselves or something. You know what I mean? When it's like, the experienced person is gonna know, like they might be able to offer some reassurance or assure them, like, I know that hurts, be like, because you actually do know. You're not just saying you know. And you're going to be able to tell them, like, after their workout when they're sore as hell, like, hey, go home, do everything you can to recover, get enough sleep, because, like, these are all the little nuances and you think about when you train yourself, because you're feeling the same exact way compared to someone who read about it. It might have been, it's like, how much stuff do you remember in college? You might have just forgot about that. It's like, okay, good job, you did your push-ups. What was the rest of that? Go home, you're all done.
I got two things for you. 2 things.
Let's hear it.
1, I mean, and this is not to say that I completely disagree with you. Don't get the wrong impression here. I'm just challenging you.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So, number 1, again, why are we assuming that because you find a fat trainer, they don't know what they're doing, right?
Well, because trainers are supposed to make people reach their goal. Do you think whose goal is to be fat?
Just because they're demonstrating themselves that they are fat doesn't mean that their training is going to reflect that.
That's true.
I can understand why you might assume that, but it's not always.
I think 73% of people assume that, though.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is human nature. People are very judgmental. They form, there's a real psychological.
When it's gonna be like their own money and goals on the line.
Yeah, there's an actual psychological term for it, and I forgot what it's called, but it's essentially where we have our own way of shaping and forming impressions. Based on certain evidence, we just kind of we look at this and we assume, know, and it's not always based in accuracy. Anyway, the next thing that I wanted to challenge you on is that, you were kind of characterizing this as like you went to college, you're reading this book, that, and then there's like suddenly there's this big difference between experience and like whatever they learned, right? You can't learn. You can't read from a book like this. You have this experience. This is what I know. This is what it feels like when I'm squatting, and somebody can't study that hard enough to know what that's like, or without doing it themselves. How about if they're reading a book written by one of those experienced people? What if just an experienced powerlifter came out and wrote a book, and you read this and never have done that movement that they're describing, but you know everything about it?
So, are they learning that when they're being educated to be a trainer? Would be one, and then two would be still reading about it. Because if it does come down to the psychological things like we were talking about earlier, you're gonna need to have like some. I feel like you're gonna need to have some of that like psychological like warfare like built up in order to like kind of get that in your client's head as well, compared to reading about it. Yeah, I mean, and then also on the first thing, like, are they reading that when they're being educated? Like, if it's about a powerlifter, like, where is there to be, if your client's goal is to be strong as shit and be a powerlifter, where are people getting educated on doing that? You know what I mean? So it's like, if you are educated, I feel like the education is not going to entail learning how to get strong as fuck. You know what I mean? Like the people who have squatted 1,000 pounds, are you going to go to the educated strength trainer if you want to squat 1,000 pounds and that's like actually close to your like you're possible of doing that? Like
if your goal is just to squat 1,000 pounds, of course I'm gonna go to the person who's done it.
Right.
However, if I wanted to squat 1,000 pounds without breaking my back, without putting on a bunch of weight, without doing all these things, those are things that maybe that person from college might understand better than the powerlifter themselves.
Yeah.
You know why? Because there's a difference between being book smart and street smart.
Yeah.
And part of being street smart is just that experience is part of like, oh, well, I've noticed that when I gain weight, I get stronger. So let's just eat like a pig and just get really, really like fat and big. And then I'm going to squat 1,000 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Obviously coupled with a bunch of other stuff. But, if your goal is to do something with very specific,
like very specific outcome.
Yeah, with very specific steps to get there. Perhaps you might want to consult multiple people. That's what I was saying, is that you can't just make it one-sided. Why is it so black and white? Obviously, the most ideal thing is to have the best of both worlds. But I mean, it is a controversial topic for that reason. Yeah.
Well, because like you were saying earlier, it seems like a lot of the or I don't know if you said this, but a lot of the experienced people may not be educated technically, like educated when it comes to like a degree. But
yeah, there's certain things
they're gonna know how to get your squat to, if they're that person, get your squat to 1,000 pounds over the educated person. And maybe there's some stuff that we don't even know that this person who is technically, by everyone else's definition, uneducated, knows just through experience over what we know like medically. Like there might be little tiny nuances that this person does that we would never think might help squat 1,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it does. There's just no medical evidence backing it up yet, so we can't teach that if there's no proven. It's like how many powerlifters that squat 1,000 pounds have been hooked up to the what's that called, EMG, or the electric, where it measures how much of what muscles like contracting. Because I know they've done studies like that, but it's like, how many of the powerlifters who have squatted 1,000 pounds have been hooked up to that, so that they can study how that works? Because that's different than squatting 500 pounds.
See, that's the problem with medicine too, in science, is that you have to form a hypothesis.
We might just not know it yet.
Well, yeah, we will. On the streets, people might know, right?
Right.
But in terms of science, right? It's
right.
limited because
it might not be proven yet.
Exactly. You have to form a hypothesis, and then you have to go through the scientific method, just to have a credible claim. Be considered valid. So I think that is one of the flaws, is that somebody could know something about
a specific goal. Yeah,
they could know something that science hasn't proven yet, and so people are skeptical about it. But I mean, if you're really determined to do something, you're gonna listen to the person who's done it. And that's exactly why I always listened to Ed Cohen when I was in high school, because I wanted to be as successful as he was. And so that's exactly why I listened to him, because I was like, So it's really interesting that you bring this up, because I was like, how do I expect to ever become a champion by listening to somebody who isn't a champion themselves? Right. I had two very, very, very good coaches, right, who weren't champions themselves yet. They weren't world champions. But the funny part is that both of them have produced countless of champions, right?
Right.
Not countless champions, right?
Yeah.
They've produced all these great lifters. And so it just goes to show that you don't need to necessarily be there yourself to be able to do that.
There was a class, I forget what class it was, but Sophia was taking a class, and she was showing me her book. And it was like, I think it was sports nutrition. And I was reading it, and all like the recommended like calories and carbs and stuff. And I don't remember exactly what was up with it, but like something was just like crazy off. Like it was saying the like average human should be eating some crazy amount of carbs. Like I think it was like over 350 grams of carbs a day and like no protein. But it was labeled sports nutrition. And I was like, what kind of fucking book is this? And I looked in the cover to see like when it was dated, and it was like this outdated ass book. And I was like, they're teaching you this in college? And they had to put together like a meal plan for a client. And it had to include these specific things. I was just like, yo, like, this isn't even right. Like, if this person wants to lose weight, you would not have them eating this many carbs.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't even accurate. So it's like, going back to like how good the education is, it's like, are we using outdated books? Yeah. Or are we doing like that comment said, like, all of that stuff that you have to do? And even then, it's like, obviously that person would probably be better if you do have to do all that. But even then, is that gonna by itself beat experience?
Yeah, what's included in your education? Are you going to college? Are you required to take classes where you have a client situation where you have to train them, you have to do all the things that they had mentioned in that comment? Or are you reading outdated books? Are you not getting a qualitative education? Are you not getting an education where you're applying any of those skills and all that knowledge? I think there are very good points in all those comments, and I agree with all of them, because I'm not biased about it either. I try to be as open-minded as I can, and I think they all present very good points that one should consider when pursuing a personal trainer. I think some of the best personal trainers can be yourself. You train yourself.
Who knows me better than me? All right, guys. So that was us kind of discussing just some of the points of who you would rather be trained by. Get together and do another podcast because that was fun. Hit a lot of good points. cracked up a little bit with the mark. So that was our video and podcast. But thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe to this channel, go ahead, subscribe, like the video, and share. Let's get it.
All right.
I got fucking pissed.
So that